Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Discovered His True Potential Before His Death Part 1 Highschool DxD X Fate Crossover. Before we start, please go support Huiwin4061 for writing that awesome fanfic. Issei Hyoudou is a normal guy who living in Kuoh town with a normal life that he was been going through and make him just got parent in his home and also two perverted friends, and Issei glad that is a normal, but he was a virgil, never had anyone else love with him because he is a pervert. But then Issei had a strange dream in his own mind for what he was witnessed something else in his mind that he saw a girl who cries for him and also she want to seen him again, and then Issei wake up from the dream that he just sleep turn out that he can't seen anything around to him, but something else tell him that he didn't knew about this. One day later he was been dating with a girl named Yuuma, and then she was with Issei have a lot of fun in the Kuoh town, but he didn't know what's coming for him. The girl who was dating with him, that is fallen angel who ordered to kill him because he had a sacred gear. When he was about to die, but his sacred gear was woke up right away and make him surprised to see the blonde-haired girl from his dream is here, then she was here and make her going to fight with those enemies ahead there by herself. Now what would Issei do with this power to fight against devils and angels in the town, and defend for the humanity from threats? Prologue, a dream. Issei. Where am I? He asked himself. There was a young teenager boy who was wake up from the sleep because he thought that it is supposed to be a morning, but he look all around to him when he see the whole area around looks like land with grasses, waters, and trees as well. Then Issei was slowly got up from the ground and make him just shook his head, and he look over there and make him notice there was a figure sat there by herself and make him confused about her, and he decide to walk ahead toward to the figure. Then he just saw the girl who was revealed out to be blonde-haired girl with her knight armor suit on by herself, and make her sat there and lean her head on the tree where she is sleeping right there by herself. Issei. Who is she? Why is she sleeping right there? He asked himself, and make him was turn his head to look at the girl who is sleeping there, and she is beautiful, absolutely beautiful as hell for what Issei imagined, but he shook his head. Issei. Now! Issei, don't be a pervert! He thought himself and make him look at her, and he was about to wake her up, and out of nowhere an armored hand grab Issei's hand and make the boy was taken surprise from her who was already awake. Atlas, I've been waiting for you, come master, she said to him. Issei. Master? Wait, I don't understand, how did you dash? He tries to said. We seen you are fine, master. But the thing is we are from the future, and we can see your old past seems to be troublesome, she said to him. Issei. You know about me? Who are you? He asked her. I am Artoria Pendragon, I am your servant. Now it is time for you to wake up right now, master, she said to Issei, and make the boy was taken surprise for what he seen this, and the whole thing turned into bright light glowing up to blind his eyes and whole body as well. In reality, Issei gasp. He was gasp out in surprise and make him turn his head to look at the ceiling, and he taken surprise that he was in the bedroom by himself, and make him don't even know what just happened in the dream that he just see. Then Issei turn his head to look at the time of alarm clock bell over there, and make him seen the time is 6:30 a.m. in the morning. Issei. It was a dream, he said to himself. Chapter 1, Normal Life. There was a beautiful normal house ahead there by itself, and make the house just seems to be fine, and until there was a person who is sleeping in the bedroom by himself, and make him seems to be sleeping there for a while little bit. Then the boy has a struggle to be sleeping for a while, and until he just going to be unexpected for what the morning going to alarm him up right away, and make the young man was surprised gasp out that the alarm bell ringing up in his ears that make him taken surprise. The young man had a brown hair along with spikes goes up on his head to the back of behind, and make him is breathing, and keep breathing out little bit with fear for what he just saw in the dream. The young man had a name is Issei Hyoudou, and he is the person who is living a normal life in the earth where he is going to school. Issei Hyoudou. Issei, gasp. He was gasp out in surprise and make him turn his head to look at the ceiling, and he taken surprise that he was in the bedroom by himself, and make him don't even know what just happened in the dream that he just see. Then Issei turn his head to look at the time of alarm clock bell over there, and make him seen the time is 6:30 a.m. in the morning. Issei. It was a dream, he said to himself, and make him just shook his head, and he need to snap out of the goddamn daydream, and his whole room around to him where he just seen some wallpapers of superheroes. Then he just seeing one woman hot naked body with beautiful as hell and make him sigh out, and he just already changed to become badass person. Mom! Issei! Wake up! It's time for school! She shout out to Issei. Issei. Coming, Mom! He shout out to her and make him was got up from the bed and then he just went to the bathroom and make him is going to take a shower in the bathroom by himself. And once he just got out of the bathroom then he already got his school uniform to dressing up by himself. Issei's school uniform. When Issei was already dressing up by himself and make him went down to the kitchen and he is going to meet with his own parent and make the young man just going to take a seat by his own. Then he saw his father is already awake and reading newspaper, also his mother is cooking the breakfast foods to Issei and his father, then the three of them have a long talk to each others by themselves. Dad, son, are you quitting the pervert act? He asked him. Issei. Yeah, pretty much I think I am done with it right now but I still a virgin. He said to him. Dad. Well, you really need to going out but make sure that you don't do the pervert act. He said to him. Issei. Dad, come on. He said to him. Dad. What? I mean it is truth, right? I mean you still got horny dash. He tries to said and make the young man slap his mouth to be quiet and then his wife hit the back of his head. Mom. Dear, would you please give the boy with relax for few minutes? It seems you tries to insult him. She said to him and make her use the power of Hanya mask to scare the shit out of her own husband and make the man nod his head and he just being and prick little bit. The young man sigh out and make him was shook his head and he turned his head to look at the time and it is time to going out to the academy and make him eating the breakfast first and he slowly got up from the seat and begin to moving out to the school. Issei. Mom and Dad! I'm going to school! He said to them and make the two of them called out to Y/N. That he need to be safe and he just take his leave from the residence of Hyoudou by himself and walk ahead to the academy by his feet like walk, and he is take a long walk ahead there by himself. Time skip later. In Kuoh Academy. Then Issei was still got a thought in his own mind for what he was thinking about the dream back there by himself, and make him just tries to think in his own mind about the girl, the blonde-haired girl, who was she? How did she really knew about him and his future? But this is getting a lot of mysterious questions in his own mind and idea by himself and make him want to figure out the truth in this world and after he just got ahead to the Kuoh Academy there by himself. Kuoh Academy. Issei. Sigh, here goes nothing. He said to himself and make him begin to walk ahead there, and he just take a long walk to the academy and then he can heard many of them with whispers, the students are boys and girls, that they were whispering to each others about the appearance of Issei is here. Then Issei heard that the girls have a discuss toward to the young man about he was befriend with the two perverts Matsuda and Motohama, and the two of them seems to be talk like a lot with bodies of hexy women. Issei. Just ignore it, I need to moving ahead there. He said to himself and make him was walk ahead there and get in the classroom from the academy by himself, and make him just got there and begin to do the classroom for the school. Then after the lunchtime that Issei who was going to hang out with his two friends over there, and make him seen the two of them peek toward to the women's room. Matsuda. Hey Issei! Want to hang out with us and take a peek with the girls' room? He asked him. Issei. Nah, I think I am passes anyway, I have to going to eat something real quick. He said to him. Motohama. What? Why is that? He asked Issei. Issei. I have no idea, man. But I need to take a break by myself and if you two want to talk and that will be fine anyway, I'm going out. Peace. He said to him, and then the young man was take a walk ahead there by himself and make him take a long walk to the cafeteria, but before he walked there, and he sensed the presence of someone else is watching at him, and make him turn his head to look at the red-haired girl who was looked down at him. Rias Gremigori. Issei. Huh! He was asked in surprise and make him look at her stood right there where she leaned to the window of the building and make him confused little bit, and he heard there was a scream comes from the girls over there, and they both screaming out in anger. Then Issei shook his head and make him begin to moving out right away by himself, and he need to going to the cafeteria by himself. As for Rias watching the young man walk away from here by herself and make her was curious, and she asked other friends stood next to her. Rias. Akino? Who is that boy? She asked her. Akino. Oh, him? That is Issei Hyoudou, and he's the great student but less pervert, she said to her. Rias. She was humming out. Akino. What's wrong, Rias? She asked her. Rias. Nothing, I just thinking something else in my mind right now, but it will be secret, she said to Akino, and the two of them play chess with pieces and challenge whoever wins and make the player become the best person. Then the two of them are better planned with something big toward to Issei, and the red-haired woman know what she is going to do, but something else coming for the boy that he is going to change. Time skip later. Back to Issei. When Issei, who was got out of his academy school by himself, and make him just got out of the school right away by himself, and then the young man is heading back to his own home right away and until someone else appeared there by herself. Then there was a young brunette-haired girl who was wearing a different school uniform by herself and make her look at Issei, and she asked him in question. Excuse me, are you Issei Hyoudou? She asked him. Issei. Depends who is asking, he asked her. Yuuma/Rainer. Yuuma. Can I ask you to going out with me? It is like a date, she said to him, and make the young man thinking about this and make him just going to reply to her right away. Issei. I'm sure Sunday that will be for me and you going out, he said to her, and make her smile, and then the young man walk away from here, and he had no idea what's coming for him. Chapter 2, Summoned Servant. When Issei was in outside of Kuoh town by himself, and make him was stood right there, and he is waiting for Yuuma arrive here by herself because she is going to be late, the young man just dressing regular normal clothes for what he going to be dressing up like this. Then Issei just look at the time in his right wrist, and make sure to see what the time for the date has come, and he just need to know where she really is right now. Issei's regular clothes. Issei. She's supposed to be here right now, he said to himself, and make him was waiting for her to arrive here, and finally she just appeared right on the time. Sorry, Issei-kun. I came late, she said to him, and make the young man turn his head to look at her arrive here with her regular normal clothes on by herself, and she was give him a warm smile. Issei. It is fine, Yuuma, beside there's no need to be waste for time. Shall we get going then? He asked her. Yuuma. Sure, Issei, she said to him. Then the two of them begin to walking out, and they are doing their own date by themselves, and seems like the two of them have a lot of funs to each others, and then Issei was seems to be happy about Yuuma will be his girlfriend. Then Issei was with Yuuma went to the park by themselves, and the two of them were stood right there and quiet for a while, and then they both turned their heads to look each other's, and Yuuma asked him in question. Yuuma. Issei, can I ask you a favor question? She asked him. Issei. Sure, what is it? He asked her. Yuuma. Would you die for me? She asked him, and make him was taken surprise for what she say, and then Issei sensed there is something wrong with this girl, and make him took a few step backs away from the girl. Then he look ahead to see the girl that he hang out and dating with her, and she completely changed into something worse with Hexy by herself, and that is fallen angel by herself. Issei. Yuuma? Wait, what's going on here? He asked her. Rainer. Chuckle, foolish human, you seems to sense with danger instinct, but good for you to sense it, she said to him. Issei. I don't understand what's the meaning of this, he asked her. Rainer. Sorry, Issei-kun, I'm going to kill you because it is my order to kill you, she said to him, and make her was summon the spear, and this make the young man taken surprise from her weapons that she create out by herself. Then she was throw the spears at Issei, and make the young man seen this incoming, and he just tries his best to dodge out of the way, and make the young man taken surprise to seen this, and he just dodged with ducks from the spears straight toward to march his death. Issei. Shit! I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I need to be brave. I need to be brave. I am refused to die. He thought himself, and make him was got his right hand had a command seal in his wrist, and it is start to glowing red up by itself. Rainer. Grrrgh. Stop moving! Let me kill you! She shout out to Issei, and make the fallen angel throw the weapon toward to him, and the spear was about to stab the young man, and out of nowhere something just blocked the attack with a powerful aura and summoned someone else is here. Issei/Rainer. What, slash huh? A/N, imagine the summoned scene. Then there was someone else arrive here by herself. The figure of person stood right there with an armored blue by herself, and make her stood right there with an invisible sword in her hand by herself. The young girl had a blonde hair tied in bun where the back of her head, and she had a beautiful face with height of 4 feet 8 inches by herself, and she was tough and strong, very strong and warrior of herself. And then Issei taken surprise to see someone else is appeared here. Issei. What? He asked in surprise, and make him was confused for what he saw someone else is here. Rainier. Impossible. Who are you? She tries to said, and then the figure open her mouth to speak up. I ask of you, are you my master? She asked Issei when she turned to look at the young man taken surprise to see her is here. Artoria Pendragon / Saber. Issei. Master? Wait, what? I don't understand. He said to himself, and make him gotten surprise for what he looked down at his right hand, and he saw the command seal in his right hand, and make him was remembering someone. The old man told him about there was a holy grail war with the cards. The old man who told him like a lot of it with the information. Artoria. It seems the contract is deal, master. I am your saber and your sword. I'll fight for your own side. She said to him, and make him remember the thing about servants, and the old man told him about the cards for what he remember. Issei. Saber? Why, you're a servant, she said. Artoria. That is correct, she said to him. Rainier. Enough of this. I don't know who you are, but you are going to die like these goddamn insects. Now die. She shout out to her and make her create a spears out, and she throw the weapons toward to the night girl stood right there by herself, and which she use her sword to slash the attacks comes from the spears. Rainier. What? She said in surprise for what she just saw this human. This girl blocked the weapons from attack of her power, and she just watching the young girl holding an invisible sword. Artoria. I don't know who or what you are, creature. You dare to hurt my master? I won't forgive you, she said to her, and make her charge ahead toward to Rainier, and then the fallen angel snap out of her surprise, and she use her hands and create some kind of spears out in her hands by herself. Then she just going to throw everything toward to the girl, but she seen this girl is fast, very deadly fast, and she use her own sword to block every attacks. Rainier. Impossible. How my spears couldn't hurt her. No human can block like this. I thought humans are weakling, but this one is move very fast. She thought herself, and she was dodge out of the way from Artoria slash at her, but the night girl look at the fallen angel fly away, but she just jump up from the ground and goes high up. Rainier. Shit. Arg. She shout out in pain, and then she got cut in torso by Artoria use her sword to cut her up, and then she was tries to fight back, but Artoria who slammed her foot down on the back of her, and sent her all the way down on the ground with a powerful shockwave, and then she is stuck her down there. As for Issei watched this and make him shook his head with a surprise gasp for what he really saw her is kicking the shit out of Yuuma, or whoever she really is. Rainier. You bucking bit dash. She tries to said, and out of nowhere a slash cut her pretty black wings off like nothing and make her screaming out in pain. Artoria. Be silence, creature who gave you order to kill my master? She asked her. Rainier. I won't tell you jack shit, she said to her, and make Artoria seen this, and she stab her sword in the back of Rainier, and make her screaming out in pain. Artoria. I ask you again, creature who gave you an order? She asked her in seriously question, and then Rainier was about to answer, but Issei called out. Issei. Watch out! He shout out to her and make the servant knight taken surprise, and she saw an incoming spear toward to her right away and make her use the sword to slash the attack, and she was backflip away from the attacks of another fallen angel arrive here by himself. Then the servant who was land her feet down on the ground and look at the male fallen angel is here by himself. Donasik. Rainier, what took you so long to kill the human? He asked her. Rainier. Well, I don't know. I just tries to kill him and this girl out of nowhere, she said to him. Donasik. Fine. I'm doing it. He shout out to her, and then the other fallen angels arrive here by themselves, and they have their spears out, and prepare to stab. The two of them stood right there. Then Issei was slowly got up, and then Saber who was land down on her feet where she goes in front, and defend her own master away from these fallen angels. Danasik, you two are outmatched at us now. Any last word before we kill you two alone? He asked the two of them, and out of nowhere a voice came from someone else. Is here. Who said alone? He asked them, and there was a sword thrown toward to the other fallen angels, and they got stabbed through by someone else. Is here, and this make Issei taken surprise, and he turned around to look at the figures appeared here by themselves. He can see there were 12 of them are here by themselves. Chapter 3, Allies/Rias's Failure. With Kalame, Amiya, Lancelot Berserker, Miyamoto Musashi. It changes. Medusa, Asterios. These 7 servants who were stood right there, and make Issei turn his head to look over there, and he can see these servants were readying to attack at them, and make Issei watch the 7 servants are charged toward to the fallen angels ahead there. Then Danasik shook his head and he called his men to attack at them right away by themselves, and make them were doing it right away, and they both firing their spears down at these servants, but they were use their weapons to block the attacks. Amiya, who was summon his bow and arrows with sword and shooting those fallen angels in the sky and shoot them in the heads and bodies as well, they both fall down on the ground. See you as lancer and make him was use his spear to slashes and stabbed every single fallen angels out like nothing, and he torn them all apart off like a wild animal. See you. Chuckles come and get some then. He shout in confident, and this make him looks like a wild and make him charge ahead there, and he slashes with stab every single fallen angels in the heads, bodies, and legs as well. Then he goes aim his weapon at those fallen angels in the hearts. Then he just turn around at those fallen angels and make him use the spear slashes and cut these fallen angels apart off by himself, and then out of nowhere Lancelot who just jump up from the ground and make him slam his sword down and cut those fallen angels apart off. There was another berserker grab the legs of fallen angels and make him slam them down on the ground, and then he thrown them to the trees and make them fall down on the ground. The berserker was holding an axe out by himself, and he swing and cut the entire fallen angels out like nothing. They tries to stab their weapons to kill the berserker, but Asterios isn't going down easily. He isn't invincible by himself. Asterios/Lancelot. GRARGH/ARTHURR. They both shouting out, and they start to massacre the entire fallen angels out. As for Musashi, who used her samurai sword to slashes and cut those fallen angels off like a samurai style by herself, and make her killing these fallen angels off like nothing. Jalter, who was use her flag and smash those mother-bucking fallen angels out by herself, and then she stabs and also doing the same thing like Siyu and make her release some kind of powers such as hellfire. Then Witch of Maiden released some hellfire burning the fallen angels out that make them were screaming out in horror with pain that the fallen angels burning alive by the hellfire for what she just made of it. Then Medusa appear out of nowhere, and she was give those fallen angels with the roundhouse kicks, and she used her weapons such as knife and stab every single of those enemies ahead there, and rip their heads off like nothing. Issei. W.O. He said in surprise for what he just saw these servants beating the shit out of these fallen angels, and Artoria who was defend her own master, but she glad to see the servants are here. Danasik. Impossible! They wipe an army out by themselves? But how comes the humans can be strong? They are weak. Who the hell are they? He thought himself, and make him was shook his head, and he look at the human Issei had a sacred gear with him. Then Danasik was flying ahead toward to the human with a spear in his hand and prepared to stab the master. Danasik. Die! You dash! He tries to said, and out of nowhere a shot arrows comes forward to the wings and make him fall down on the ground with a wince in pain. Rainer. Danasik! She shout out in horror. Mori Nagayoshi. Chiron. Kyoheim. Jean. Atlanta. Point 1. Because. Then the other fallen angels who were support to helping him out and make them tries to kill the servants. Then Mori with Kyoheim was killing these fallen angels out. As for Karna, who summoned some kind of power such as portal like red glowing and shooting down at the fallen angels and killing the entire fallen angels out by themselves. Then the others who killing and burn the rest of those fallen angels out. As for Danasik tries to summon the other weapons as spears and make him tries to throw the spear at Issei, but Artoria dashed toward to Danasik. Then Donsik tries to cut her down, but her weapon is thick and his holy spear was cut through by Artoria's Excalibur's sword. Slash him to the shoulder down, and make Donasik spat bloods out of his mouth. Donasik. I am Possible W. Who are you? He asks her in question and fall down on the ground, and his body goes split into half. Rainier. Donasik and no, she said in horror, for what she saw her comrade was been cut down by the swordswoman like merciless, and then she looked the entire of fallen angels that the servants killed, they both are dead right now. Then Rainier seen this and make her tries to get up from the ground, and she need to run away from here before these servants going to kill her. Rainier. How did he do that? A human can summon these warriors and they defeat my army out. W. Who are they? She thought herself, and out of nowhere 2 arrows shot down on Rainier's kneecaps and make her gasp out in pain and fall down on the ground. Then Jalter appeared here and make her use her spear stab down at Rainier's arm and make her screaming out in horror. Jalter. Hold still, Hitch. Just where do you think you're going? She asked her and twist the spear at the fallen angel, and she is screaming out in pain, and then Issei with the other servants appeared here by themselves. Issei. Okay, Yuuma or Rainier, but that's your real name? Rainier? Alright, time to talk. Who sent you to kill me? He asked her. Rainier. I can't tell you anything before he will kill me, she said to Issei. Issei. You have 2 choices, woman. Live or die. Because the servants can do this easy way to end your miserable life? What choice will it be? He asked her. Rainier. Oh, okay, I'll tell you the whole things, but don't let them kill me, she said to him, and make him was sigh and he tell her to hurry up, and then she explaining to Issei with the other servants about fallen angels, and the Lord name is Kokabil. Rainier. That's all I tell you, we kill those humans who have their sacred gears and they must be eliminated and extinction, she said to him, and make him seen this, and he was sigh out, and he look at Rainier, and he said. Issei. Rainier, you tries to trick me about the date and kill me, but this time I won't let you live. Please end her, he said to Jalter, and make her smile and widen, and then Issei with the other servants took a step back and let Jalter begin to burning the fallen angel alive. Rainier. Please have mercy, she said. Jalter. Sorry, all out of mercy, she said to him with an evil smile, and burning the fallen angel alive with her hellfire. Jalter. That's what you'd get to kill my own master, Hitch, she said to her, and then there was a figure of small thing just watching at Issei with the servants, and make her got jaw hang out like shock with surprise. Chapter 4. Good News / Selrich. Issei. Rainier, you tries to trick me about the date and kill me, but this time I won't let you live. Please end her, he said to Jalter, and make her smile and widen, and then Issei with the other servants took a step back and let Jalter begin to burning the fallen angel alive. Rainier. Please have mercy, she said. Jalter. Sorry, all out of mercy, she said to him with an evil smile, and burning the fallen angel alive with her hellfire. Jalter. That's what you'd get to kill my own master, Hitch, she said to her, and then there was a figure of small thing just watching at Issei with the servants, and make her got jaw hang out like shock with surprise. The figure was revealed out to be a white cat, and make her was hanging on the tree over there by herself, and the cat revealed out to be Kaneko. Kaneko. Holy shit! She thought herself, and make her taken surprise for what she was seeing the whole thing out there, and she just watching these servants who appeared out of nowhere, and they both slaughtering the entire of those fallen angels out like nothing. Then Kaneko watched Rainier with Donasik. The 2 fallen angels were being killed without mercy by Jalter and Artoria, that the 2 of them killed these fallen angels up. Kaneko. What's going on here? I thought that Issei senpai is going to die by the hands of fallen angel, but he is saved by these strangers. Who are they? Where did they came from? Was this a sacred gear for what he really had? She thought herself, and make her need to get out of here before they notice her, and one of them was did it Jalter stare at her where the cat is in the tree. Kaneko. OHSHIT. She thought herself, and make her was jump up from the tree and make her begin to running out to somewhere else in this world, and she need to leave cause she can't stay here before she will get killed by one of these servants. Then Issei who was with the servants, and he decide to think that the cards for what the old man give it to him, and it is a real present with gift for his birthday, and make him doesn't believe it all fake but it is real. Issei. So it wasn't a dream, I saw you guys before in my own dream. He said to them and make them nod their heads, and then Jalter who give him a hug. Jalter. Thank God that we arrived, we thought you were gone. She said. Issei. Huh? He asked in surprise. See you. Well, glad that you summon us, kid. He said. Jean. Sai master, you should be careful about what happened back there. It is almost get yourself killed back there. She said to him and make him nod his head to her, and then they both heard there was a police sirens. Issei. Ah shit, it's police coming here. He said. Amiya. Master, I think we should leave before somebody else is here. He said to Issei and make the young man nod his head, and before he run, but he got picked up in bridal style by Artoria, and the servants begin to leave right away before the cops are appeared here by themselves. Time skip later. Back to Rias. When Rias was sat in the chair by herself and make her is drinking the teacup by herself, and she didn't felt him summon her and make her confused little bit, and she narrow her eyes at the summon and make her want to know what happened here. Then Rias was tries to figure out what happened, and out of nowhere there was Kaneko arrive here by herself and make her look at Akino with Kiba, who seen the little white Nico girl arrive right now. Kaneko. Bucho. It is trouble, she said. Rias. What is it, Kaneko? Can't you see I am busy and focus about dash? She tries to said. Kaneko. No. Issei senpai is alive and he is safe, she said to her, and this make the others were taken surprises for what they were seeing this. Rias. What? Are you saying that Issei is alive, that he didn't summon me? She said to her and make her nod her head. Kaneko. Yes, she said to her, and which make Rias surprise even more, and she looked at the Nico girl and she asked her and demanded that she need to know what is happening and make her going to tell Bucho the whole things, and the Nico girl who was explaining to Rias about what happened back there. Then Rias was taken a lot of surprise for what she heard. Issei was awake his own sacred gear by himself, and summoned those people like men and women appeared with warrior outfits by themselves, and holding their weapons, and killing the entire fallen angels out. Rias. They killed every single fallen angels out by himself? She asked her. Kaneko. Yes, Bucho. They are not normal and nothing like I just seen before, she said to her. Rias. She was humming out. Kaneko. What are you going to do with Issei senpai? She asked her. Rias. I'll talk to him in tomorrow, she said to Kaneko, and make the others were taken surprises for what they heard of this, and then they both don't even know what is. Rias tries to do talk with Issei and allied the young human and his sacred gear with power of servants to be here by themselves. Then they have no idea how powerful of Issei's allies by themselves, but they will see it sooner or maybe later cause they have no idea what's coming for them. Time skip later. Back to Issei. When Issei was with the servants finally going back to his own home, and then the young master was in the bedroom with his servants, and make him just got the cards by himself, and he just definitely take a look at the cards for what he really seeing the cards in his hands. Then Issei didn't know what he turned his head to look at the cards for what he remember about Selrich, the old man give it to him since he was a kid. Issei. Oh, the cards are real, they are real, he said to himself. Artoria. You know the truth now, master, she said to him. Issei. I really can't even believe it for what I just seen this, and these servants and powers are definitely real. But there is no Holy Grail war in here, he said to her. Amiya. No Holy Grail, but some kind of endangered supernatural monsters around here in this world, he said to Issei, and make the servants were murmuring little bit. Jean. I do not understand about how these fallen angels tries to know the sacred gears and what's with the order to eliminate the humans, she said. Jalter. Whoever behind this cause I have to burning the rest of them, she said to herself. See you. So kid, what are you going to do? He asked Issei. Issei. I don't know, but tomorrow I need to think and I need to know about these fallen angels and sacred gear for what they have. I need to kill these things all for what they did. I've been let my guard down and tricked by her, but this time I am go serious, he said to him, and make the servants chuckle out little bit. The young man sighed out, and he was almost got killed and tired for scared of his life for what he was been going through, but he turned his head to look at the others and he just tell them that he need to know about their names, and they answer it to him with a simple task with the truth answer. Then the young man surprised for what he heard about the servants are heroes of history, that they were warriors for long time ago by themselves, and Issei want them to teaching him to become stronger and faster for what he was become like them. Issei: I see. Well, I'm glad that I summon you both are here, but I don't know about tomorrow morning and I need to think with the other things that I need to know about the fallen angels. I need to going to sleep right now, I'm tired. He said to them and make them nod their heads, and they both goes spirit form by themselves and let the young man going to sleep. In flashback. At 7-year-old. When Issei was a young boy, stood in front of the library by himself, and make him just stood right there where he just watching all the books hanging on there by themselves, and make the young boy just look at this whole place around to him, all the books for what he really need to see. Then the young man look at his own parents who would take him ahead there, and make the young man just tries his best to search the books for what he really need to read right away, but then he meet a foreigner old man who was in this library by himself. Zelrich / the troll vampire. Zelrich: Hey there, dear boy, he said to him. Issei: Hello, sir, where did you came from? He asked the old man, and make the old man who was laughing out little bit, and he told Issei about how he really going to get here by himself, and he just told him that he is new tourist. Then the old man was showing the tale of book, and make Issei was confused, and he start to reading the book of heroes for what the young boy going to understand, and then he is showing the young boy with the cards for what he need to know about the word is servants. End of flashback. Issei: This is going to be crazy, he thought himself. Chapter 5: Meeting with the Devils. When Issei was wake up for the morning because the alarm clock ringing out by itself, and make him just taken surprise from the morning, and then he just opened his eyes like slowly up, and then he felt lot of a headaches in last night, and make him was sensed there was a lot of things in his dream. The young man had a dream in the night when he was sleeping, and he was dreaming like a lot for what he was imagine about it, and make him seen their dreams and all memories from the heroes who were in the history. Issei: So the last night was real and the dream for what I just saw, and it is the memories from the heroes, old history heroes that I just saw. He thought himself, and make him turn his head to look at the time where stood next to him, and make him look at the alarm time, and he can see the time is 6:27 a.m. in the morning by itself, and make him was sigh out. Issei: Well, I think it is going to be wake up right now, he said to himself, and make him tries to get up from the bed, and then he raise his hand and touch down on someone else laying there beside with him, and this make him touch again and more again. Then he heard a moans comes from someone else's laying on the bed, and make him was look down there, and then he take the blanket off and revealed a person who is laying there, and revealed out to be a servant. Issei: What in the tamamo? He said in surprise, and make him was look at the fox lady who was sleeping on the bed by herself, and she was suddenly wake up from the bed, and make her look at Issei is already wake up from the bed. Tamamo no me. Tamamo. Morning, master, she said to Issei. Issei: Tamamo? What are you doing in my bed? Why the heck are you wearing dash? He tries to said, and make the fox lady was pulled him into her breasts, and make him was taken surprise from her who was pulled him down on her breasts, and then she was smile up and widen, and she is always fall in love with her own master. Tamamo. Because I want to warm with you up, master, she said to the young man, and make him was blushing up little bit. Out of nowhere the door was burst opened and revealed someone else is here, and make Tamamo with Issei sense the dangerous aura comes from someone else is here, and make the two of them turn their heads to see there is Kyoheim, and she had a Yandra smile on her face with her eyes closed. Kyoheim. Darling, she said in growl. Issei: Oh shit, I'm bucking dead, he thought himself. Tamamo. Sorry Kyoheim, master is with me now, she said to her. Kyoheim. Well, I am gladly that I am going to burn you up right here and right now, she said with her eyes closed, and then she released the danger's instinct kill aura on her and prepared to hurt someone, but out of nowhere there was a voice called out from Issei's mother. Mom. Issei. Wake up. It is time for school. Your wives are gonna cook the foods. She shout out to him and make him was thinking of this, and then he told her it will be alright. Then he look at his two servants, and he told them to be stop and there is no need to be violence, and Issei will give Kyoheim a peck on the lips and same to Tamamo as well. Then the two servants will remain calm down by themselves, and then they both seen Issei seems to be fine young man. Also he was got up from the bed, and until he heard a small cute voice comes from someone else is here. Jack the Ripper. Issei. It is fine, Jackie, there's no need to be panic. I am fine, so what are you doing here? He asked her and make the little girl run up to him, and she give him a hug on the waist, and she said, Jack, because we want to our mother doing we've been waiting for you to get up and it is warmth when you are with us. She said to him and make the young man smile and patting the head of his own daughter, and he said, Issei. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Why don't you come down to the kitchen, alright? I need to take a bath and I'll meet you both down there. He said to her and make the little girl was smile and wide as pure joyful, and she seems to be cute but deadliest dangerous little girl. As for Issei, who was take a long shower in the bathroom, and he just got out of the bath by himself, and then he was dressing up with his school uniform and prepared to moving down there to the kitchen and have a breakfast with his servants. Time skip later. In academy. After Issei was done to eating the breakfast foods by himself, and make him was walking ahead toward to the Kuoh Academy by himself, and then he noticed the school is big, and then he can sense the presences with powerful of some devils are appeared here by themselves. Then he isn't alone cause he got his own servants with him, and they both are in their own spirit forms by themselves. Artoria. Master, can you sense that? She thought herself. Issei. Yep, I just definitely feeling it. He told her. Gilgamesh. It seems we aren't alone in this world, but who or whatever they are worms and insects that they need to be put down. He thought himself. Amiya. Seems like we need to be prepared for whatever is coming for us, and we do not know how many of them ahead there. He thought to Issei, and this make the young man nod his head, and then he begin to moving ahead there by himself, and make him walk ahead to the academy. Then Kaneko, who was in the cat form by herself, and she is watching at Issei, who seems to be fine, and make her surprised to see Issei is fine normal human, and she going to report to Rias right away. After Issei went to the classroom right away and make him just studying in normal life from this academy, and then he just heard there was a fangirling comes from girls over there by themselves and make them saw the handsome blonde-haired man approach here. Then the young man had a blonde hair with school uniform by himself, and he revealed out to be Kibayuto. Issei. Shit, not this guy again, why is it always him? The handsome? He thought himself. Mordred. You know this pretty devil boy here? She thought herself. Issei. Yep, the prince, I am pissing off about him. But he is a gay. He thought himself to her, and then other servants would chuckle out toward to him that he just take a jokes. Amiya. Be careful, master, something with this devil here. He thought, and then Issei applied to him, that will be confirmed for it. Then Issei looked at Kiba, and the blonde-haired boy asked him. Kiba. Issei Hyoudou? He asked him. Issei. Yeah, what can I do for you? He asked Kiba. Kiba. Bucho want to see you. He said to him. Issei. Really? What's this meeting with me? He asked him, and make the young blonde-haired boy told him that it is important, and this make the young man was thinking, and he need to know about what is he taking him to. Then the young man accept the word. Then the blonde-haired boy take him to where the meeting with Bucho really is right away, and make Issei going to have a conversation with the servants, and they tell him to be careful if they can came out of their hide and show themselves to the devils. Issei. That's where the meeting really ahead there. He thought himself. Artoria. Be careful, master. We don't know who is he or she. But we need to know why is she call you to be here. She thought to him, and then Issei take a walk ahead there by himself and make him made it right on the time, and then Issei can see there was 3 people are in here: Akino, Kaneko, and Kiba. A/N, just ignore Asia, only 3 of them. Then Issei with the servants heard the showering is running and make him was confused and surprised little bit, and he heard Siyu was whistle out, and he thought. Siyu. Who the heck let the shower in outside like this? He thought himself, and then Skathatch called out. Skathatch. Don't even think about peeking there, Siyu. She thought to him, and then the dog was like whimper little bit, and then Rias, who came out of her shower, that she is already dressing up with her school uniform by herself. Then she just seemed to be fine and hot beautiful woman and make her smile up, and she said, "Rias, I'm glad that you are here, Issei," she said. "Issei, so speak the chance, why do you brought me here?" he asked her. Rias, well, this important is about yesterday, do you remember Yuuma who date out with you? She asked him, and make the young man was taken surprise for what he heard, and then he asked her. Issei, do you know her as well? He asked her, and make her nod her head, and then she told him about how did he survive from the fallen angel who was about to kill him, and then he just give a hard choice to speak out the truth. Then Issei want demand the bucho ahead there, and he asked her about what is exactly did she really need to know, but Rias explaining to Issei with the whole things about the supernatural in this world and make him want to know with the whole things about it. Rias, so Issei, it is your turn to explain to me about what happened back there. How did you dash? She tries to said, and out of nowhere there was a sword tip on her neck and make her taken surprise to see someone else is here, and that is Artoria. Artoria, now answer me, why are you intended to do with my master? She asked her. Chapter 6, Supernatural World. Rias, well, this important is about yesterday, do you remember Yuuma who date out with you? She asked him, and make the young man was taken surprise for what he heard, and then he asked her. Issei, do you know her as well? He asked her, and make her nod her head, and then she told him about how did he survive from the fallen angel who was about to kill him, and then he just give a hard choice to speak out the truth. Then Issei want demand the bucho ahead there, and he asked her about what is exactly did she really need to know, but Rias explaining to Issei with the whole things about the supernatural in this world and make him want to know with the whole things about it. Rias, so Issei, it is your turn to explain to me about what happened back there. How did you dash? She tries to said, and out of nowhere there was a sword tip on her neck and make her taken surprise to see someone else is here, and that is Artoria. Artoria, now answer me, why are you intended to do with my master? She asked her, and make the red-headed devil was taken surprise to see Saber appeared here, and the other devil members were taken surprises for what they saw, and they were about to approach the night girl. But out of nowhere there was Medusa, who raised her knife and aimed at Akino's throat, and as for Jack appeared out of nowhere, and she just goes behind at Kaneko was doing the same thing. Then there were Siyu, Amiya, Skahatch, Mordred, and the other servants who were here, but they don't take their approaches. Kiba, that sword Excalibur! He thought himself with a growling out little bit, and make him growl out right away, and then he was about to take his sword out, and out of nowhere there was Mordred aim her Clarence sword at Kiba in the back of his head. Mordred. Mordred, don't even think about what you were doing, pretty boy. You're gonna stand down or you'll see this girl right here going to die, she said to Kiba, and make the young blonde hair man was tries his best to calm down, and he doesn't want Bucho get hurt. Then Issei, who has got his face changed into serious as hell by himself, and make him want to demand it to know about what is she and other clans. Issei, now tell me the whole things with clans and devils? He asked her, and make her was gulped down on her throat, and she began to explaining to Issei with the whole things with devils and the clans as well. Then Issei need to know about the whole things for what he want to know with these monsters or any species from supernatural world. Issei, so you are waiting for me to be killed by the fallen angel Rainier, and then what happened next? What are you tries to reincarnated me back alive? He asked her, and make her nod her head, and she explaining to him about the evil pieces that makes him become a devil. When she was explain out, and this make her sense the glare with dangerous aura comes from the servants, and Issei that they both were releasing the intent killers by themselves, and they are going to kill her, and the rest of them. Then Rias seems to be afraid of Issei with his servants, cause Kaneko told her the information about it with the whole things. Issei, why? He asked her. Rias, because that's the law and order for what I need to bring you back, she said to him, and then she heard a voice comes from someone else is here. Mongrel, you really think you going to let the master get killed by the worm creature like others out there? He asked her, and then there was Golden Archer appeared by himself, and he wore a lot of gold armor suit, and he had a blonde hair with red eyes glowing. Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh, give us a reason why to know, do you enslave our master to be your pet? Well, I have to wipe you and these insects here in this school. The master ain't toy or controlled by you. Give me a reason, explain. he said to her with his portals appeared and revealed a weapons comes from the walls that looks like a swords and make her was scared shitless. Rias. I dash. She tries to said. Issei. Wait, don't kill her, we need to know why she is doing this. He said to him and make the king sigh out, and stand down, and then Issei with the servants are going to listening for what the devil princess going to tell them with the whole things. Then Issei with the servants revealed their secrets to the devils ahead there and make them more confuses and taken surprises for what they heard the names of those history heroes in the pasts. Rias, impossible, she said in surprise. Issei. What? You heard about them? He asked her and make her shook her head and she began to tell Issei with the whole things about hero fiction and also there were history of heroes as well. Then Issei with the servants taken surprises for what they heard more information from Rias told him with them about there more other heroes like them are in here from this world. Nobunaga. You're telling me to fight a guy called Chow Chow? Issei. Yup, well I'll save Kuna mother. Nobunaga. Okay, you owe me a date after this. Issei. Don't worry, kiss her cheek, I'll make it up to you. He said to her, and he give her a smile right away and then Issei was look at the red-headed woman, and make him going to have a word with her about what is he gonna do next is wait. Then Rias was about to ask Issei with one simple question that she need to know and make her want to ask him with this question. Rias. Wait, why are you fighting for humanity? Don't you have a honor? She asked him. Issei. Because I fight for mankind that I deserve to be a hero. A real hero must protect the innocent people that I don't let them die by these fallen angels. The reason that I don't trust you, Rias-senpai, or any devils in here because there is a goods or evils I don't care, I'll attempt to kill you all. He said to her and make her heard of this, and then she taken surprise to heard Issei will kill them in easily way to wipe them all. Issei. But I will help you an ally as well. He said to her and make her heard of this, and then she seeing him was a good man, and then he just take his leave right away by himself and leave Rias with other devils in silence for what they cannot speak up to see how dangerous of Issei with his allies. Kiba. Bucho, are you alright? He asked her. Rias. I am fine, Kiba. She said to him. Akino. These servants with history of heroes who are strong, they're menacing with auras are stronger for what I was imagine. She said to her and make the red-haired woman heard Kaneko told her about these servants for what Issei really had is terrifying and they were monsters slaughtering those fallen angels out like nothing by themselves. Rias. How strong of his allies? She thought herself. Time skip later. Back to Issei. When Issei with the servants in their own home by themselves and they both are in the bedroom where they just sat there in the bed and they have a conversation with little bit things for what they need to know about the supernatural world, and they heard the heroes who like themselves are in here. Then Issei just need to know about the information with all every supernatural and other things around here and he need to hunt strays, fallen angels, and Kokabile. Morgan Le Fay. Morgan Le Fay. Interesting. You're telling me my sister have 2 grandkids in this world and one of them has taken my name, and she studied magic. Issei. That about it. Rias told you with the whole things? Right. He asked her and make her nod her head. Morgan Le Fay. Yep. Very interesting, she said to herself. Mordred. Wait. Rias telling me my father had 2 grandkids in this world? Issei. Yup, that's about it. Mordred. What that make me then their auntie? Issei. I don't know, but aren't you listen for what Rias tries to speak? Chow Chow had the heroes of past by himself, and he just collecting them, and even Jean as well. They are become terrorists who threat this world. He said to them, and then Jean asked in surprise. Jean. You're telling me there's a Jean in this world and not only she slander my name by joining a terrorist group called the Hero Faction? She asked him. Issei. That about the gist of it. Yep, for what Rias told us the whole things. He said to her, and which make her pissing off about it. Artoria. So you're telling me I have 2 grandkids in this world and my sword is broken into different pieces? Issei. Yup, that's about it. I've been reading the history book and tries to solve the problem about Excalibur, and turns out the sword is gone, only you are new and having it. He said to her, and then others who want to know with the whole things and make them get a lot of interests that they have to fight the other duplicated heroes by themselves. Okita. So theirs is another me in this world? Issei. Yes. Look, we'll talk this later for tomorrow because Rias want to test me out with other simple tests that we need to take these rooks from her. And other night we shall hunt these fallen angels and cultists down, he said to them and make them smile up. Issei. It is time to make the humanity safe again, he thought himself. Chapter 7, Dragon/Nun Girl. There was a battle ahead and somewhere but not far away here, and there is something big, pretty much big size form of dragon, and it is showing itself toward to the other servants who were fighting the beast inside at Issei's body. The sacred gear for what Issei really had in him, and make him become stronger and faster, but the power of sacred gear for what he really had it in him, and realize that make him become a real hero by himself. The giant beast showing itself with 39 feet tall, and it is very big with red scaled all over skin by itself, and make the creature had a wings with horns comes from his head, and the creature was revealed out to be a dragon, a red dragon by itself. Dragon? Drag. Roar. He was roaring out toward to those servants who were down there, and they both goes their own fighting stances by themselves and make them were readying to fight this giant creature show itself here by itself. There were 8 servants who are ahead there by themselves and make them both were stood on their grounds, and they are facing the dragon ahead there by themselves and make them readying to fight with this beast. Siegfried. Sigurd. Alexander. 1. Saga. Jean. Then the other servants are Knight of Round Tables, and anyway back to Siegfried, who use his sword up and make him was going to use his noble phantasm right away, and he is going to finish the dragon with powerful finisher move to strike toward to the dragon. When the dragon got blasted by the powerful attack comes from Siegfried, who was used the noble phantasm, and turns out the dragon is lucky to be alive and make him stood right there got harm with bruises all over by himself. The creature turned his head to look at the other servants who were surprised to see the dragon is still moving by itself, and make the creature smack Siegfried and send the servant down on the ground by himself. Siegfried. He seems to be survived from my noble phantasm, he said to them, and make them nod their heads that they both turned their heads to look at the dragon, and then the dragon let out a boost with a flamethrower comes from his mouth and released the attack. Sakata. What in the dash? He tries to said. Jean. Incoming! She shout out to them and make her use her noble phantasm to raise the flag up, and she use her shield to protecting the other servants, and make her seeing the dragon was growling out in anger, and then Sakata use his noble phantasm toward to the dragon, and make him tries to kill the dragon by himself. Sakata. Screw it! I'm going to kill it! He said to them. Then Sakata released the powerful noble phantasm toward to the enemy, and make the dragon was let out his roar in pain, and he was take a step back away from the blast, and seems the dragon is bleeding out little bit. Drag. Damn it! I can't even stop the attack! Boost! He shout out in anger and make him was stood right there by himself, and the dragon look at the servants, and he said, Drag. The humans are outmatched at me. They work together and they are smart, and whoever are they? Why are they in here? He said in anger little bit that he need to know about how did the servants are in the dreamscape, and the other servants who were taken surprises for what they heard the dragon can speak up. The servants have no idea that the dragon can speak up like that with his monotone demonic voice by himself. Sataki. What the buck? He said in surprise. Sigurd. Did it just talk? He said in surprise as well. Siegfried. It can speak with boost, and this makes sense now. This must be Master's sacred gear, he said to them. Gawain. The creature can talk? He said. Lancelot. I thought dragons are savage, mindless beasts, he said. Jean. I do not know how the beast can talk, but we need to take it down by ourselves, and we need to tame it, she said to them, and make the servants nod their heads, and then the dragon let out a roar at them and charge ahead to them, and as for the servants were doing the same thing toward to the dragon. Next week later. Back to Issei. When Issei was going out for the Kuoh town by himself, and make him just going to take a long walk out to somewhere else in this world by himself, and make the young man was being trained like a lot. He learned to know how to use the sword fight, also his own fighting style like any servants for what he was being trained by them. Then Issei has been practicing like a lot how to learn and fight at these opponents as servants. Now he becomes stronger and faster, that makes him become unstoppable. Issei's regular outfit. The young man who is going out by himself and make him isn't alone, and he had Artoria who was stood beside with him, and make her was spend her own time to training the young man to become stronger, and warrior as hell. Then the young man who seen Artoria dressing her regular outfit normal and make him was blushing up a little bit to see Artoria was a nice girl who was helping him out by herself. Issei. So, what do you think with the town? He asked her. Artoria. It is nice, I pretty much like this town and peaceful, she said to him. Issei. Well, that's good for what I really heard, he said to her, and make him was blush little bit to see how beautiful of Artoria really was, and he seems to like her. He remember her when he was 8-year-old and have a communicate with her in the dream. Then the two of them are going out for their own date between master and the servant. As for the other female servants who were bickering with jealous, and they want to hang out with their beloved master by themselves, and they both were definitely doing it later. And back to Issei with Artoria who hang out with foods, drinks, and lot of things in this world. Issei. Man, you sure eating like a lot, he said to her. Artoria. Servants who are hungry for their own mana. We must eat like a lot with powers to make us stronger to fight the opponents, she said to Issei. Issei. I see him. He was humming out little bit for what he really thinks something else in his own mind. Artoria. Master, what's on your mind right now? She asked him. Issei. I need to know about the fallen angel with a hideout where they both are, but some humans who have a sacred gears with them, and we need to save them from the fallen angels, he said to her. Artoria. That's good for what I heard, she said to Issei, and make the two of them are walking out to somewhere, and then they both were bumped into someone else, and make the two of them turn their heads to look at the nun girl who revealed out to be blonde-haired girl with the green eyes. The Agrento case. Issei. Beautiful she remind of you, Jean, he thought. Jean. Very charming, master. But you can sense something from this girl? She thought to Issei, and make the young man was taken surprise for what he saw. The aura and power comes from the nun girl who stood there, and make the two of them thinking about the girl have a same power. Issei. Sorry about that, miss. I didn't mean to see you dash, he tries to said. Asia. No, it is my fault, I didn't watch the way where I am going, she said to Issei, and make him was definitely seen her as beautiful. But then the nun girl asked them about the church. They need to take her ahead to the church over there, and then the three of them are going out by themselves. But the two of them saw the power comes from Asia, the nun girl who healed the boy fall down on the ground with a bruise with bleed, but her power had a twilight healing. This must be her sacred gear. When Issei was with Artoria and the nun girl to the church ahead there by themselves, and make them both just arrive right on the time, and Issei with the servant noticed the strange dark church place, and the auras with power of church. This make Issei with the other servants sense the dark presence of church seems to be strong, very strong for what they just imagining at it. Amiya. Master, can you feeling it? He thought to Issei. Iskandar. I can sense there was something else in there pretty much dark, he thought. Issei. I can feeling it, he thought. Artoria. Master, be prepared, we don't know what's in the church, I can tell there must be fallen angels in there, she thought to Issei. And then Issei with Artoria take the nun girl to the church ahead there by themselves, and make the two of them saw the priest, but that wasn't priest, it was a sinister priest who stood there with a dark smile that they are imagining at it. Once they take Asia to the church ahead there, and they went back to where they going back to their own home. Issei. Looks like I found the hideout where fallen angels in there, he said to them. Chapter 8. Massacre Fallen Angels. When Issei was begin to moving out to somewhere else in this world by themselves, and make the young man who is going alone out to somewhere else in this world by himself with his feet and hands on the jacket's pockets. The young man take a long walk out to the street ahead there by himself, and make him notice there was a church ahead there by himself, and then he noticed the church is over there, and make the young man just stood right there, and he wearing his black leather jacket, and also badass outfit by himself. Issei. This must be it, he said to himself. Issei's regular outfit. When Issei look at the church over there by himself, and make him notice the church got a lot of dark aura comes from there, and make him want to kill these fallen angels out there by himself with his servants. The young man looked down at his left arm where he looked at the gauntlet was summoned by itself, and make him look at his left arm, and this must be sacred gear for what he just saw. Drake. So, are you ready to go in there, partner? He asked Issei. Issei. Possibly now I must summon the servants that they are going to be here, he said to the dragon in his left arm gauntlet, and make him turn his head to look back at the church again, and then he was thinking in his own mind that he ready to go in there. Then Issei was summoned Artoria, Jalter, Achilles, Tamamo no Mae, Kyoheim, Lancelot Berserker, Achilles, Mordred, Siu, Amiya, Assassin, and then Castor Gillis and make them both were land their feet down on the ground by themselves. Achilles. Amiya Assassin. The 9 of servants are appeared here right on the time by themselves and make them land their feet down, and they got their weapons out and prepared to go in there by themselves, but Issei looked down there, and he saw there were some cultists members down there with their weapons. Then Issei noticed this and make him was summoned. Jack appeared here by herself, and make Issei just look at his daughter, and he told her. Issei. Jackie, can you do mother a favor? Kill these bad guys down there and every single one of them, he said to her and make her nod her head. Jack. Yes, mommy, she said in happy with cheers, and then she was charge ahead there and make Issei look at the other servants, and he give them a signal right away by himself and make them were going ahead down there by themselves, and they both charge ahead to those cultists, and waiting some fallen angels came out of the church. Then the other archers such as Chiron, Atlanta, and Amiya that they got their own position with their arrows ahead there and prepared to shoot some fallen angels in the sky by themselves. Issei. Now the real battle begin, he said to himself, and watching these cultists members going to get slaughtered by the servants. In flashback. When Issei was with Artoria walk back to their own home and make the 2 of them are finally back to the house, and then they are in the bedroom and also the servants who were discussing with the parents of Issei about this world where the supernatural exists. Then the 2 of them are in great danger, but they aren't cause they need to be brave, and the servants are going to safe by the servants who willing to protect them. Issei. They target to kill Asia and take the twilight healing out from her, he said to himself. Artoria. What are you going to do? She asked. Issei. I must save her from the horrible death in there, he said to her, and then out of nowhere a voice comes from the gauntlet in his left arm. Drake. That won't be necessary, he said to Issei, and make the young man with servant taken surprised to see his gauntlet appeared in his arm, and make the 2 of them seeing it. Issei. What in the W what is this? He asked himself with surprise. Artoria. Your sacred gear, master, she said to him. Drake. I am surprised that one of your servant notice I am anyway. I am Drake and I am dragon, and you must be my own partner then, he said to Issei, and make the young man nod his head, and he said. Issei. Yep, I am. What is you want with me? Do you wish to join with me? He asked him. Drake. Why? Of course I am. Join up with you is easily way. Anyway, you can't rescue her in this night because the fallen angels regroup a lot of armies, he said to him. Issei. So I have a servants that I can take care of them and wipe them all out, he said to him, and make the dragon was chuckle out little bit, and then Artoria asked the dragon. Artoria. You are his sacred gear? She asked him. Drake. That is correct, he said to her, and make him explaining to her with the power for what he really have, and it is allow Issei to transform into something terrifying and the armor and lot of things for what he need to learn and how he really using it by himself. End of flashback. The servants were killing the entire of these cultists and fallen angels out by themselves and make them just wipe many of them out like nothing. Then the cultists tries to slash Jack up with their weapons. The little assassin who was fast, very deadly fast, that she slashes and cut their necks off like nothing, and make the cultists tries to cover the bloods came from their necks, and they are dying by the hands of the little assassin. Jack. Fleshes. Now time to die, she shout out to them with a sinister smile on her face by herself. As for the other servants begin to wipe many of cultists out like nothing and rip with tear them all like savage as hell by themselves. Then Artoria, who use her sword, slashes and cut those cultists apart off and make her use her sword to cut down the enemies out by herself, and nothing else can stop her, and she send 3 powerful slashes and send those cultists to the sky with a powerful slashes. Artoria. You heathens must die for against the humanity, she shout out, and she can see these cultists are animals and monsters, that they were acting like an evil by themselves, and she need to slashes and slaughtering them all. Then Lancelot, who was swing his sword and cut every single one of them out and make her just slashes and cuts them out like nothing, and then these cultists tries to jump over at the servant, they both tries to take him down, then he swing his both arms hit those servants and send them to fly up. Lancelot. The RVH! He roaring out in anger and make him begin to smashes them up with his fists and also kicks as well. The servant use his sword to cuts and slashes these cultists out like nothing. Then Mordred, Siu, Achilles, Tamamo, Kuoh and other servants begin to wipe these cultists out like nothing, and until the fallen angels who were got out of the church by themselves and they are flying ahead there. Fallen Angel 1. Attack! He shout out. Fallen Angel 2. Kill them all! He said, and there were more fallen angels out that they are flying ahead there by themselves and prepare to throw the spears down at them. Then Kuoh, who was use her flame power to shoot at the other 3 fallen angels ahead there, and make them got burning alive by the power of servant. Then the other servants who would jump up and punch them, and then they take these fallen angels out from the sky that they both fall down on the ground, and then Mordred, Siu, and Tamamo kill them all. Then Tamamo was throw the signs of papers toward to the other fallen angels. They both were being paralyzed and freeze. Also she used her signal power to burning the fallen angels alive and make them were screaming out and painfully by the hands of servant, and then there were more fallen angels are appeared here by themselves. Issei. Now it is time to end this, Atlanta. You go ahead to use the noble phantasm. He said to her, and make Atlanta nod her head, and she used her noble phantasm right away and prepared to strike these ravens down by herself. The fallen angels were screaming out in pains, and they both got shots and stabs down by the arrows from Atlanta's noble phantasm by herself, and wiped many fallen angels out, and some cultists down there. Then the servants who would keep massacring and kill every single of these fallen angels and cultists out like nothing, and nobody else survived from the wrath of the servants, cause they can take many of them out like nothing. Mordred. Laughing this night going to be great. She shout out and sinister with laughing out and make her punches, kicks, and slashes her sword at those enemies and rip with tear them out like nothing. The fallen angels were been killed by the servants who wiped the entire of these motherbuckers out by themselves like slaughter. Chapter 9. Save Asia/Freed's Death. When Issei was watching the servants wipe those fallen angels out like nothing, and they couldn't survive from these monstrous servants, and the fallen angels stood no chance against them like this. Then Issei was turn his head to look over there and make him notice there was Asia who has got out of the church by herself, and make her begin to running out to somewhere else, and make him is going to follow her. Issei. Asia! He shout out, and she didn't heard. Issei. Tamamo, Kuoh, Amiya, Carmilla, and Mordred with me. He shout out to them and make them nod their heads, and then another servant who was appeared by herself, and make her was looks like a vampire. She is a vampire. Carmilla. Then Issei with the servants are running ahead there by themselves and make them tries to reach for Asia the nun. Then there were 2 fallen angels are ahead there by themselves, and that is 1 woman and 1 little girl. The 2 of them were stood right there with their weapons in their hands, the holy spears by themselves. Calawarner. Calawarner. You all can't pass through here, she said to them, and make the 2 fallen angels throw the spears toward to them, and then Mordred use her Clarence sword slash the attacks comes from the 2 of them and make the spears were disappeared. Then the 2 fallen angels were taken surprises for what they were seen this, and make Mordred smirk up, and she charged toward the 2 of them, and she slash her sword at them, and make them were dodge out of the way, and they tries to take the night girl down. The 2 impacts with holy spears could do nothing toward to her. She is anti-tank by herself, and she punches and kicks the 2 of them out like nothing by herself. And then Issei look at Kuoh, and he give her a nod and make her use the noble phantasm by herself to wipe these 2 fallen angels out. Then the 2 fallen angels were burning alive by Kuoh, who burned them out with her noble phantasm, and then the other servants turned their head to look over there, and they saw there was a priest who was about to reach to Asia. Then Issei seen this and make him tries to rescue her, but gunshot hit the sword from the priest who was hissing out in pain, and make him look back at the figure who shot him, and that is Amiya, assassin. Issei. Asia! Run! He shout out to her. Freed. GRRGH! I don't know who the hell you are, Bucks. Why are you standing on my way? He shout out in anger that makes him is going to kill them right away, and make him was take his sword out, and he goes his own fighting stance. The fake priest who was take his weapon out, and revealed out to be sword but an holy sword for what he was holding the Excalibur sword. Issei. That sword couldn't it be? He thought himself. Mordred. Master, seems the mad dog had the holy sword by himself the Excalibur. But this one is different and same to the other Excalibur sword. She thought to him. Issei. All right, Mordred, go ahead. He said to her and make her was nod her head, and then she was going ahead there and make her going to fight with this mad dog priest ahead there by herself. Then the priest who was look at her and make him goes his own fighting stance, and then she was doing the same thing as well and make the two of them stare each others and prepare to fight right away. Freed. I'm going to kill you! I'm going to kill you and take the sword from you! He shout out to her with a maniacal on his face, and seems to be mad as hell that he need to kill. Mordred. Your wish, mad dog. She said to him and make her charge toward to the fake priest, and she use her sword to swing and cut down on Freed, but the fake priest use his sword to block the attacks comes from her, but he realized that the servant is strong, pretty much strong as hell, and he was tries to cut her. But her armor who was protecting herself, and she feeling lucky to be alive that she can fight and kill the priest by herself, and then the treacherous knight use her fists with kicks begin to beating the shit out of Freed like nothing. The fake priest was spat lot of bloods out of his mouth and make him got punches, kicks, and also he got his face punched pretty hard by Mordred to beating the shit out of him until he wasn't moving. Then Mordred was use her sword to raise up and prepare to slay her weapon down on the fake priest. This make the fake priest tries to block it with his sword, but the sword cut down on the fake priest. Freed. What? Walk! He shout out in pain by Mordred who swung her down and cut the fake priest's right arm off like nothing and make him was screaming out in high with pitched. Freed. You bucking CNT dash. He tries to said and he got backhanded by Mordred who was send him to the ground. Mordred. Shut the buck up, mad dog. You're annoying as shitless. She said to him, and the fake priest was got up from the ground and he tries to kill her with other weapon, but out of nowhere there was Carmilla who stabbed Freed through in the chest, and she said. Carmilla. Now then, where were we? She asked him, and then she used her noble phantasm toward to the mad dog fake priest and begin to stake him alive by herself. After the mad dog fake priest was been stabbed by the holy maiden with coffin in there, and impaled the fake mad priest with stakes to put him out of misery, and then the bloods came out of it. Then Carmilla was taste the bloods comes from the mad dog that she just sucking the bloods from him, and she is a vampire anyway. Back to Issei walk ahead toward to the young nun girl over there by himself, and he asked her. Issei. Are you alright, Asia? He asked her. Asia. I am fine, but what's going on here? Who are these people? She asked him. Issei. Let's just say that I have an alliance who is working with me and they always be my friends. Now then, let's get you out of here. He said to her and make the nun nod her head, and then he take her to the other servant and get her safety and make Issei turn his head to look at Mordred, and he said. Issei. Mordred, time for use the noble phantasm destroy these fallen angels and cultists where they stood to the church. He said to her and make her smile up in evil with widen, and she nod her head, and then Issei called his servants to back away from there, and then Mordred used her sword up and prepared to speak up with her finisher move and release the powerful attack of noble phantasm right away. Then the treacherous knight swing her sword down and release the powerful attack of blast hit these fallen angels, cultists, and every last single one of them was been blow up by the finisher move from Mordred who was destroying these creatures and sinners out like nothing. Then the powerful blast like blow the church up and also everything around here, and it is going to be get a lot of damages for what they going to face. After the powerful blast was done, and it looks like nothing but burning some pieces of skeletons comes from the fallen angels and also sinners who were laying there by themselves and make them were finally death. Then Issei with the servants who were take their leaves right away by themselves, and they went back to their own home by themselves, and turns out that the fallen angels, cultists, and sinners got their deserve coming. Time skip later. Back to Rias. When Rias with the peerage that they both felt the mana and energy with earthquake all around here by herself, and make her was taken surprise for what she seen this, and she turned her head to see there was a fires comes over there. Rias, is that, she said in surprise. Kiba. Bucho, don't you think dash? He tries to said. Rias. It was him. She said. Kaneko. So powerful, his servants are terrifying, she said to her. Akino. Whoa, that power could destroy everything else around here by themselves, she said to her, and then out of nowhere there was door opened out, and revealed to be Sona Citri with her peerage arrive here. Sona Citri. Sona. Rias! Did you dash? She tries to said. Rias. Yes, I can sense it, she said. Chapter 10, A Hero Reborn. When Issei was in his home by himself, and he take Asia to safety and make him was ask her if she got really hurt, and make her shook her head, and she is going to stay here with Issei right away and make her just stay here for a while, and she doesn't want to going out there where those maniacs and also lunatics as well. Then Issei was look at Asia who want to know what's going on here, and all she really want to know the truth about what happened, and who are these people back there. Issei. Well, the truth is these people here are my friends, and they both are servants from History of Heroes, he said to her. Asia. Servants? Heroes of Histories? What? She said in surprise for what she was hearing this, and make him look at the servants who were in their spiritual forms by themselves, and they give him a nod right away. Issei. Alright, this is going to be a long story, but trust me, you have to know the whole things out there in this world, supernatural world where devils, angels, fallen angels, and monsters in this world are exists, he said to her, and make her surprise even more for what she hearing this, and then Issei begin to explain to her about the Holy Grail war and servants. That's the first explanation comes from Issei, who was told her with the whole things, and then he was sigh out and make him grab the water and drinking it up again, and he said. Issei. Alright, next one, he said to her. Then Asia doesn't know how much servants who were going through like this, and she felt bad about these servants, but Issei was grab her hands and he said. Issei. Asia, I want to let you know this, that I won't let them tries to take you away, he said to her. Asia. Issei. She said. Issei. There was a fallen angel Rainier, she tries to trick me as her date because she using me, and then I was about to die in the park where I stood there, it felt make my fear and shiver goes up in my spine. Then I summon her, I summon my own servants to protect me from threats and dangers, he said to her, and make her was heard of this, and she felt bad about him how much that Issei was been going through, and almost died back there. Issei. I let my guard down, but I haven't know about this world, this new world for what I really see, he said to her. Asia. Issei, I am sorry dash, she tries to said. Issei. No, Asia, it is all right as a master, and I must protect you from dangers, he said to her, and make her was heard of this, and make him was grab her hands, and he said. Issei. Asia, I will protect you from any threats tries to hurt you, but I promise you that you are safe away from these fallen angels or anyone else, he said to her, and make her smile, and she heard of this, and she give him a kiss right away, and then the female servants came out of their hide, and they are outrageous that they want to be kissing by him in somewhere else. So the true master was finally awake his sacred gear by himself. Interesting, perhaps I'll meet him later, and I want to see how strong he really is, he said to himself. Chapter 11, The Challenge. When Issei was already awake up for the morning by himself, and make him just stood right there where he just need to talk with the servants about the devils out there, and also the academy as well. Then Asia, who was playing with Jackie the daughter assassin, loved to play with Asia cause the two of them are kind of cute being together like this, and make Issei seen the two of them were alright, and then Issei went to take a shower in the bathroom, and make him just done to take a shower and step out, and revealed him dressing up in his school uniform. Issei. Alright, time for going to school, he said to himself, and make him step out of the bedroom, and he start to walk down there by himself, and make him notice his parents, and Asia already awake, and then he see family living in peaceful. Then he saw Mia was cooking the breakfast, pretty much breakfast foods for what he really had E-rank luck, and then Issei had the same thing as well. Issei. Morning, he said. Oh, morning, they said to Issei. Issei went to take a seat with the others, and make him just sat with them for a while, and they both have a breakfast by themselves and sat there for a while, and having a good talk right away by themselves. Then Issei seems to be happy when he see them are here family, friends, and also loved ones as well, and this make him felt much better for what he was been going through little bit. Asia. Where are you going, Issei? She asked him. Issei. I'm going to school, Asia, I'll be back here in afternoon. He said to her and make her confused little bit, and she said, Asia. Okay. She said to him, and then, Y/N, gave a salute for the others mean goodbye, and he is going to school right away by himself, and make him was going out right away, and then Asia, who was watching Issei going to school by himself, and make her instantly going worry about him. Then a small hand grab Asia's hand and make her turn to look at the little small servant Jack, and she said, Jack, don't worry, Asia. Mommy is going to be alright. He will be a hero. She said to her, and this make Asia was smile up little bit, and then Jack drag Asia to the house right away by herself and having a lot of funs as friends. Time skip later. Back to Issei. When Issei went to the school and take a class, and then after he was done the class and make him went to the ORC room right away, and he got a meeting with Rias and her peerage that they both have a conversation to talk with each others. The young man was walk ahead there by himself, and make him just got there right on the time, and then he look at Rias's play the chess by herself, and make her sat there for a while. Rias. Issei, you made it, please come on in. She said to him. Issei. Okay, I am here, so what's the meaning of this? He asked her. Rias. Well, you know that you are here and you know what happened last night? She asked him. Issei. Let me guess, me and my servants were behind the destruction out there, right? He asked her and make her nod her head, and she said. Rias. You and your servants caused the destruction and last night almost got people killed. She said to Issei. Issei. Well, the fallen angels need to get out of the humanity's world, that's what they need to do. I am tired to see those ravens going to be here all the days and nights, now you fix everything. He said to her. Rias. Correct, I fixed the whole things out there, but Sona erased the memories of humans who were witnessed the blast and caused destruction. She said to him and make him was chuckle out, and he said. Issei. I'm glad that you are helping out. By the way, then what else do you want from me? I'm not going to join in with you because I am not a member of your peerage. He said to her and make her seen this, and she was chuckle out to him, and she told him that won't be necessary, and she explaining to Issei with the game and rule for what he really need to do is defeat her peerage members by him with his servants. Then Issei heard the chuckles comes from the servants who want to fight with the weakest peerage members, and then Issei seeing Rias with the others have no idea what's coming for them. When Issei was seen this and make him is going to accept the challenge right away, and he look at her and the other peerage, and he said, Issei. Alright, I accept the challenge. He said to her and make her smile, and she give him a nod right away by herself, and then she take him to going outside right away and make them both were going to stood right there, and have a long area out there with a real fight. Then Issei was stood right there and make him just look at Rias, and the red-headed woman give him a nod, and then Issei was summon his 3 servants are going to be here right away by themselves, and they made it right on the time. Fran. Issei. Alright, you 3, there's the list that you 3 need to challenge. He said to them and make them nod their heads. Aquino vs. Medusa. Kiba vs. Artoria. Kaneko vs. Fran. Medusa. Sounds like interesting. She said to herself and make her was prepare, and then Artoria was ready for her own sword and Fran crack her neck, and she give her master with a nod means like they will always be prepare. Then the 3 servants are going ahead there by themselves, and then Aquino who is going to be first, and make her stood there with a confident smirk on her face, and she is always be prepare. Aquino. Well, it is good to see an opponent. I hope that I am going to punish you with painfully. She said to her with a smirk on her face. Medusa. In your dream, demon. She said to her and make her goes her own fighting stance by herself, and she was prepared to fight the opponent ahead there by herself and make her ready to fight her right away. Then Aquino was release her lightning power such as thunder crack toward to the servant, and make the Greek servant was running, and she begin to running, and she just dodge out of the way from the spears of electric tries to kill her. Aquino. Let's see you can survive this. She said to her and make her begin to throw her weapons toward to Medusa. Medusa. She was humming out and make her was begin to running straight toward to the opponent, and then she just jump up from the ground and she was land down on behind Aquino and make her charge ahead to her, and she use her knife was stabbed her. Then Aquino was use her power such as a shield to block the attack from the servant, and make Medusa give her a roundhouse kicks, and make her got lot of shield to protect, and then she just got jump backward and make her land down on the ground. Then Medusa take her blindfold off, and she revealed her eyes out with glowing purple, which scared the shit out of Aquino, and make her got froze where she was stood right there, and she couldn't even move. Aquino. I can't even move, wait, her eyes, could it be? She thought herself, and she saw Medusa charge toward to Aquino, and she give her a lot of beating up by herself, and make her got lot of hits by the servant who knock her down on the ground. Then Rias with the others who were taken surprises for what they were seeing this. Sona. W what? She defeat her like nothing? She said in surprise. Saiji. W who the heck is she? Is she dash? He tries to said, and then Rias called out winner is Medusa, and this make the others were taken surprises for what they both noticed there was eyes comes from the servant, and which scared the shit out of them for what they were heard of the name, the myth, legend, and also history. Then next challenge is Artoria fighting with Kiba. This make the two of them as knights charge toward to each other's right away by themselves. Then Kiba, who was angrily toward to the Excalibur sword for what she really had, and make Artoria narrow her eyes at Kiba, and then she noticed the devil boy who was angrily toward to the weapon for what she really had. Kiba. Now who might you be? He asked her. Artoria. I am Artoria Pendragon, King of Britain. She said to him, and make him surprised for what he heard of this, and he said. Kiba. Impossible, how comes King of Night become a girl? He said to himself, and this make Artoria got insulted by Kiba's word, and then she was snap out of it, and make her kick him and send him to the ground, and then she said. Artoria. Do not insult me with another words for what you are speak, devil. I don't know why are you obsessed my sword? She asked him, and make Kiba was got up from the ground, and he was anger, and he said. Kiba. That because the sword kill my own friends and family. He said to her with anger and make her confused more, and then she saw him charge toward to her and make her use her sword slash the weapons for what he really had and break it into pieces. Then Kiba tries to summon another weapon and make him realize that his weapons couldn't do damage to hurt the King of Night by himself, and he felt his throat got tip of the sword point at his neck. Artoria. Would you yield? She asked him, and make him was being surrender right away, and then Issei noticed Kiba who had a glare at the sword but something else that he need to talk with Kiba right away. Then Rias, who was got her jaw hanging out, and make her witness Artoria use her Excalibur sword slash down at Kiba's weapons and make her realize the weapon for what the servant had is strong, very strong as hell, like overpowered. Rias. Artoria Pendragon win! She shout out and sweat little bit. Then Fran with Kaneko, who were readying to fight right away, cause Kaneko had no idea how capable a Fran really is, cause she is Frankenstein and servant as well. Then she was charged toward the servant. Fran is beating the shit out of Kaneko like nothing. The Nico girl tries to land a punches or kicks toward to the servant, but the servant is strong and anti-tank by herself, and Fran let out a roar, and she swung her mace hit at the Nico girl in the left side where the crib's there and make her spat lot of bloods out from her mouth. Kaneko. So strong! I can't defeat her. I'll be squashed. She tries to thought, and she got smashed by Fran use her weapons such as mace, and smashed the shit out of her like nothing. She is beating her to death by herself, and she sent the Nico girl to the tree and knocked her down on the ground. Then Nico girl was knocked down on the ground with unconscious by herself, and then the servant who was let out humph. Oh. Holy shit! What a fight! Just who are these servants? They aren't humans! They're monsters! They thought themselves. Chapter 12, Chicken Phoenix / Gilgamesh. When Issei was with the servants challenging to fight with Rias, and the redheaded had her own peerage members, and seems like she was with her army couldn't defeat the servants cause they both are strong as hell and kicking the shit out of them like nothing. Then Issei seen the redheaded girl was give up and she couldn't take this anymore. And then Issei was chuckle out to her and make her seeing him looks like he was strong and very strong powerful bad motherbucker by himself. Issei. Now then why am I here, Rias? Because there was an important with an emergency? He asked her and make her nod her head and she said. Rias. I need you to stay here before he is going to be here and arrive right on the time. She said to him. Iskandar. Who is he? He thought himself. See you. Another devil meeting? He thought himself. Amiya. What could possibly goes wrong? He thought himself, and then Issei with the servants are waiting for what happened next is, and then Rias was sigh out, and she said, Rias, I am not ready for this, I am not ready for this marriage. She said to herself and make her feeling much anger, and she doesn't want to married with someone else looks like a hick and base hole by himself. Then Issei just going to sit here for a while and make him going to wait for what happened next is out of nowhere there was an arrogant bastard showing up ahead here by himself. He had a blonde short hair wearing red suit. Riser Phoenix. Issei. An arrogant bastard. He thought himself and make the servants were chuckle out little bit to see how Issei being outsmart toward to the enemy who was stood right there by himself. Then Riser was approaching ahead here by himself, and make him just going to touch Rias in the face, and he said, Riser. Riser has arrived, my beautiful beloved Rias. He said to her. Rias. For the last time, Riser. I am not intended to marries with you. She said to him and make him want to taunt her with other words, and then Riser was definitely want to have a fun with her, but until he noticed there was Issei sat in the couch chair by himself. Riser. Wait, who is this? Why is this insect in here? He asked her. Issei. Oh shit 321. He thought himself and the wrath of servants were shout out to this arrogant motherbucker here. Nero. How did he disrespect our praetor? Filthy friend. She thought. Kyoheim. Insolent wench. You dare talk trash toward to my master? She thought herself. Ushawakamaru. Lie and slander. I'll cut devil's head off. She thought. Leonidas. I'm going to smash this fool here with my shield and stab him with a spear. He thought. Vlad 3. His blood will be mine. He thought. Servants. We are going to kill him. They thought themselves, and Issei was tries to calm them down, and make him doesn't want the servants going to be pisses off. Issei. Oi faggot piss off. He said to him and make Riser was pissing off with anger little bit. Riser. You dare insult me? I'll kill you! He shout out and make him was about to burn Issei, and out of nowhere there was another devil servant appeared here and revealed out to be the maid. Graphia. Graphia. Riser! Kill human will be consequence, she said to him. Riser. He was humming out little bit in anger, and then the maid looked at Rias, and she told her that bring human in here will be consequence, but she wouldn't do that. Then they both have a long talk with each others. Then Riser was summoned, his peerage appeared here by themselves, and they are women, and this make Issei was got little bit pissing off about what he was seen this, and same to servants as well. Artoria. What a disgusting devil he really is. She thought to Issei, and he is agree with her when Issei was insult toward to the bird brain over there by himself, and make the bird bastard going to be pisses off. Issei. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration? I didn't mean to. Beside, I don't give a buck about you tries to do with Rias. She's not going to marry you, ass white hitch. He said to him. Riser. You dare insult Riser? Riser will burn you alive. I am the king of this world and nobody else will take me down. He shout out to Issei and make the young man sat there and remain calm. Are you really sure about that, bird? He asked him, and make the arrogant devil was taken surprise, and he looked at Issei sat in the couch chair, and then in appearance of someone else is here by himself. The person who was revealed out to be golden armored by himself, and make him sat there in the throne chair, and revealed out to be Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh / King of Heroes. Gilgamesh. What a charming you have to say, worm. He said to him. Riser. What? Who are you? He shout out in surprise for what he saw. Another human appeared here, and make the devils with peerage taken surprises for what they saw him is here. Then Rias with her peerage got their sweat drop in their heads for what they seen this. Then Graphia was taken surprise for what she saw him appeared here. Wait, who is this man? How did he get in here? But she consents and felt the aura comes from this man. It was dangerous, and make her instinct going to run away. Gilgamesh. Who am I? It doesn't matter who I am, the important things is you, chicken. You call yourself as a king? Don't forget that I am the king of kings who rule over this world, and you all bunch of insects and worms. He said to them with insult words. Riser. What did you say, you smuggling human bastard dash? He tries to said and make him was got stab and send him to the wall of the building from this school and make riser was hissing out and scream little bit, and he saw there was a holy sword stabbed down on his leg. Riser. W what? Holy sword? He said in surprise. Riser's peerage / revel. Master / big brother. They both shout out in surprise and tries to helping him up, but Gilgamesh speak up. Gilgamesh. Another word from your mouth again, worm. I'll put you down like a rabid dog. He said to him and make the servant release some portals ahead there by themselves and they have their swords comes from the walls. Gilgamesh. I know who or what you are, devils, fallen angels and angels. You all bunch of weakling insect and worms, for what I am imagine I'll kill you. He said to him, and then Issei was speak out. Issei. My lord, you cannot kill them here, there will be a match for what you can fight with riser. He said to Gilgamesh and make the servant was chuckle out little bit, and then Graphia was sweat in her head like a lot, and she need to know who is this servant. This servant proved to be strong and fast but appear with danger instinct. Issei. Miss, can you get the begin? He asked her and make Graphia shook her head and she nod her head and begin to explaining to them with the rating game and match that they need to take them out and prove the winner to be riser or Issei. Then Issei was accept the challenge that he need to do, but he still ally with the devil and he wasn't going to let the arrogant son of Hitch gonna live this time. This will be a beatdown. Chapter 13, The Rating Game Part 1. When the day has finally come and make Issei was begin to walking back to the school right ahead there by himself, and he just take a long walk ahead there with his feet, and then the young man begin to heading out by himself. Then Issei just need to get there where he is going to meet Rias with her own peerage members and make him put his hands on his jacket's pockets by himself, and he start to walk ahead there. Rias. You made it, she said to Issei. Issei. Alright, I'm here right now, is everyone ready? He asked them and make them nod their heads, and they both will always be prepared to fight at those enemies ahead there. Issei's regular outfit. Graphia. Yes, so all everyone here, right? She asked them and make them nod their heads that they both will always be prepared right now, and this make Issei was chuckle out to see how riser with his peerage that they are going to get their asses kicked by the powerful servants from Issei had with him the allies. Then Issei waiting for the bastard is going to show up right away by himself with his peerage members, and then they both are here, and they just made it right on the time by themselves. Riser Phoenix / his peerage members. Eubeluna. Michael. Carlamine. Cyrus. Isabella. Xiulan. Isle and Nell. Enai and Lee. Marion. Bulent. Shuriken. Mira. Graphia. That's the game, the match will begin right now. He said to Issei and make the young man was chuckle out to her, and he said. Issei. Alright, let's do it then. He said to her and make him was give his servants appeared ahead there by themselves, and then they both are going to be there right away, and as for Issei who was stood right there with his arms crossed over and remained calm as well. The young man got his face changed into serious by himself, and make him is readying to wait to see how Rias with his peerage members gonna survive this. Issei. Shall we get the game begin? He asked her and make her nod her head right away and make her stare down at the watch, and she said. Graphia. Begin, she said. Time skip later. In somewhere else. Then there was the peerage members were split up by themselves and they both were readying to fight at the servants. Then the queen called out to be Eubelna who was going to face the servants such as Carmilla and Semiramis, that the two servants going to beat her up right away. The queen Eubelna who was tries to use her power to blast the two servants, but somehow the two servants block the attacks of this queen here, and she just got her ass kicked by the two servants used their powers to beating the shit out of her up. Semiramis. Eubelna. Why can't I land a hit on them? They are unstoppable. She thought herself and make her tries to kill the two servants right away by herself, and out of nowhere another blast hit the queen and sent her to the ground. Carmilla. Seems you are still struggle alive. Now then, shall we have a lot of fun? Semiramis? She asked her. Semiramis. As you wish, Carmilla. Well, master, give us a lot of tactics, and now let's see how is she going to dealt with this. She said to herself and make her use the noble phantasm toward to the enemy ahead there by herself. Then the queen was knocked out by the powerful blast comes from Semiramis, and send her out of the game right away, and now there's only left that they need to wait few more opponents that the two servants are going to fight. Then there were two opponents fighting ahead there by themselves, and make the two of them were revealed out to be Maihi and Siyu. Maihi, who was fighting with the other servants such as Siyu, and make her goes her own fighting stance by herself, and she is waiting for Siyu attack her. The spearman was smirk up to her, and make him charge toward to her right away, and she use her sword to block the attacks from spearman, and make him goes wild attack toward to her, and make her tries to use her weapon to dodges and ducks, but turns out the spear was strong as hell. Maihi, what kind of weapon is he holding? What is this weapon just made of? She thought herself, and she got kick in the gut by spearman, and make her spat bloods out of her mouth, and she was fall down on the ground. Siyu, you should give up, kid. I'll put you out of misery. I am fighting with a woman who had a weakling power, he said to Maihi, and make the peerage member was pissing off right away, and she is going to attack everything for what she got toward to Siyu. Then the spearman was slash his spear toward to the weapon comes from Maihi, and it is break into pieces like nothing. This make her take in surprise, and she got kick in the face and sent her down on the ground and get knocked out. Siyu, there goes her, he said to himself. Well, then next challenge that the two of opponents is Carloman with Cirrus that the two of them are going to face with the servant ahead there, and that is Lancelot Berserker by himself. Lancelot, Garh! He roaring out in madness by himself, and makes him feeling in rage all over his own body and feeling the dark mist summon out by the servant. Then Carloman with Cirrus shook their heads and make the two of them focus toward to the servant over there by themselves, and they both tries to take the servant down with their powers or weapons could damage the servant by themselves, but turns out the servant is strong as hell and he just beating the shit out of the two opponents by himself like hitch slap and kicks as well. The Berserker was send the two of them to the ground and make him was use the powerful finisher attack toward to the two enemies ahead there, and that is Noble Phantasm by himself. The Berserker servant was let out his roar and change his weapon turn into a minigun, and this make the two opponents have their faces with horrors and surprises. Cirrus slash Carloman, holy shit! They both shout out in surprises and get a lot of multiple shots by the servant. Then the two opponents that Carmine with Siri got their asses kicked by the servants, and send them out of the game right away, and they aren't longer to be in the game that they got their asses whoops by the Berserker. Then Lancelot was growling out in anger and make him was let out a thunderous roar toward to the sky by himself. Shiolon with Isle and Ellen were facing a servant ahead there, and that is Skahatch, and the woman holding a two spears out by herself, and make her was look at the three of them that they got their own fighting stances and prepared to fight them out. Shadow. Skathack. Now then, which one of you who want to fight me first? She asked them, and make the three of them turn their heads to look each other's, and they both were scared as shitless for what they were seeing this, and make the three of them charge ahead toward to the servant. Then the servant was sigh out little bit, and she said, Skathack. Such disappointment. She said to herself, and make her begin to moving ahead there, and she begin to fight also beating the shit out of these three opponents ahead there, and they have no idea how capable of Skathack really is. Then they were misunderstood about this servant. This servant is strong, and her weapons in her hands was definitely strong as hell to fight, and slashes them all. Skathack. Have enough yet? She asked the three of them, and make them were breathing and keep breathing out little bit, and they were beaten almost to be death by the servant, and then the servant was sigh out, and she said, Skathack. Well, alright then, time for you three get out of the game. She said to the three of them, and make them both were confuses, and then the servant used her Noble Phantasm right away. After the three of them were been sucking through, and make the three of them send to the portal like a door ahead there by itself, and suck the three of them where they tries to get away, and they both were finally got knocked out into unconscious by themselves. Then they are out of the game already by themselves, and the servant let out a humph, and make her seems to be fine with this situation like this. There were four opponent ahead there, and that is Marion, Bulant, Sharia, and Mira. The four of them got many blasts comes from the servant who is in flight ahead there by himself, and he used his spear to throw down at them and blow them up. Then the four of them were got sent down on the ground with a shockwave, and make the four of them were got lot of bruises with hurts by the servant revealed out to be Karna. Karna, whom you four were struggled to survive, he said to himself, and make him was watching the four of them use their powers or weapons tries to blast the servant, but the servant used his shield to protecting himself from the danger, and then the servant was give many blasts and attacks toward to them, and blew them up with the whole things. Then the servant look at the enemy down there by himself, and make him was chuckle out little bit, and he said, "Karna, time to finish this foolish challenge game." He said to himself, and make him was use the noble phantasm toward to these fools down there by himself. Boom. Everything was blew up like a nuclear bomb to wipe everything out, and the 4 opponents who couldn't survive back there from the powerful blast of NP comes from Karna. Well, it is almost over for Riser. Chapter 14, The Rating Game Part 2. When Issei was stood right there, and he is watching his servants were down there, and beating the shit out of those enemies ahead there by themselves and send their asses out of the game right away, and this make him smile a little bit. Then Graphia, Rias with her peerage members were taken surprises for what they saw the servants wipe these opponents from Riser's peerage members and make them both realize to see how strong of Issei's servants, and they were like unstoppable and invincible by themselves. Rias. They took every peerage members out by themselves? She thought herself. Graphia. Impossible, who are they and what are they? They aren't human beings. She thought herself, and make her was watching at the servants take the peerage of Riser out by themselves. Graphia. Who is this young man? How did he just tame them? She thought herself. Issei. Yo! Maid! How many peerage for what the chicken had? He asked her. Graphia. It is going to be last one. She said to Issei, and make him was heard of this, and he was smile and chuckle out little bit to see how strong of his servants, and they were beating the shit out of these devils out like nothing. Then the young man got a smile up on his face, and he feeling good when he was seeing this whole things around here by himself. Back to Mordred. Then there was Isabella, who was got her ass kicked like a lot by the servant knight, and that is Mordred the treacherous knight, who was stood right there with her hands crack up and prepared to fight Isabella. Then Isabella was shook her head and make her use her fists or kicks such as martial art to beating Mordred up, but turn out that Mordred can't hurt by the girl who was beating her up. Isabella. How aren't you defeat yet? She said. Mordred. Ha ha! Stupid hitch! I have an armor to protecting me now! She shout out to her and make her punch the devil peerage member in the face, and which knock her down on the ground, and then she give her a lot of beat down by herself. Then Mordred was kick Isabella and send her down on the ground again, and make Mordred use her sword stab down on Isabella and make her scream out in pain, and finally she throw the peerage member to the sky, and make her slash her sword at her, and make her screaming out in pain. Isabella. She's not normal opponent for what I've been facing about. What is she? She thought herself, and make her got kicked in the stomach by Mordred, and then the servant used her noble phantasm right away. Mordred. Time to finish this, she said to herself. After the noble phantasm toward to Isabella, and she couldn't survive from that, and make her got her own ass kicks by Mordred, and then the last one was been taken out already, and what else is Mordred going to do next is waiting. Then Issei was smile up to seeing this, and make him chuckle out to his servant was strong, they are strong as hell, and fighting every single of enemies ahead there, and destroy them all like nothing. Issei. Now then, where is Riser? He asked himself. Graphia. There he is, she said to him, and make the young man turn his head to look at the opponent ahead there, and that is Riser, and make him saw the chicken is flying ahead there, and make him speak up. Riser. Damn you! Riser is about to win, and now you ruin everything! He shout out to Issei. Issei. Actually, she doesn't like to marries with you, scum arrogant bastard. He said to him, and make Riser was pissing off a little bit, and make him is going to beat Issei up, and then Issei seen this, and he was use his gauntlet out, and summon his balance breaker. Issei. Time to change. He said to himself, and make him was activating the power up from his gauntlet for what he is going to turn into in red armored form by himself. Boost. After the transformation was done, and make Issei was completely changed into the dragon armor knight form by himself, and it is all red over by himself with beautiful armor, and he had a tail behind his back by himself. Then the figure of armor stood in 6 feet 2 inches foot tall, and make him was readying to fight with Riser by himself, and it is time for real battle. Issei. Time to end this, Riser. He said to himself, and make him look at the chicken is waiting for him to get there, and then Issei was going to beat the shit out of Riser with the martial art for what the servants taught him how to learn and practices to fighting at the enemies ahead there by themselves. Then Issei need to take this chicken phoenix out by himself, and he know what he is going to do when he is kicking the shit out of him. Then Issei was begin to land a hits with attacks toward to Riser by himself and make him use all everything moves with punches and kicks as well. Then he just kick the shit out of Riser like nothing and make the phoenix bastard land down on the ground by himself. And then Issei was about to finish him, but he had other plan. Drake, partner, what are you doing? He asked him. Issei, don't worry, I have other plan to defeat this motherbucker. But I have king of heroes who want to disrespect and insult toward to Riser. He said to him, and then Dragon was silent to speak up and make him going to watch Issei's plan ahead there by himself. When Riser was about to fight again, and out of nowhere and sword stabbed down on the chicken in the shoulder, and make him was screamed out in pain by some kind of holy sword stabbed down on him. Riser. AARGH. Who dare dash? He tries to said and make him notice there was someone is ahead there, and make him was stood right there when he was flew up ahead there by himself, and that is Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh. Now it is my turn, time for pain, mongrel, he said to Riser. Issei. Ah shit, I'm out, he said, and make him was flew away from where Gilgamesh is going to kill the chicken phoenix right there by himself, and then Issei was going to get away from Gilgamesh, gonna release the most powerful finisher move toward to Riser over there. Then Gilgamesh just did it by himself and make him just release the powerful attack of Enpi by himself and blast hit the chicken phoenix to fried up. After the blast of Gilgamesh use his noble phantasm toward to the mother-bucking arrogant bastard and make him was got blow up and send him down on the ground. Then Gilgamesh turn his head to look at the body of Riser covering in burnt, bruises, and also a lot of everything in there by itself. Then Gilgamesh was chuckle out to see how pathetic worm creature was laying there, and being death by himself, and then he speak out. Gilgamesh. What a useless creature, he said to himself. Anoo! Don't hurt him. She shout out to him and make the golden archer look down at Riser's sister Raven came up here by herself and make her put her arms up and she want to defend her own brother. Ravel. Don't you hurt him, she said to him and make her beg him not to kill her own brother. Gilgamesh. Out of my way, foolish wench. You want to die with your own brother? He asked her. Ravel. And no, I don't want you to kill him, please have mercy on him, she said to him. And then Gilgamesh was seen this and make Issei who told Gil not to do it. Then the servant was sigh out, and he said, Gilgamesh. If you want to join with your brother, that's fine for me, but I won't stop trying until I will kill this chicken here by myself, he said to Riser, and make the golden archer was disappeared right away by himself, and leave Issei stood right there by himself. Then Issei just stood right there with his form was collapsed, and make him was changed back into his own human form with his casual clothes on by himself. Issei. Now, that's how you doing it, he said to himself, and make him was look at the damage caused destruction ahead there, and seems like Issei with the servants did horrible thing in this world. Now Issei is going to do everything he can to fixing it. Chapter 15, Thought Slayer. When Issei was stood right there by himself and make him just stand on the rooftop school building ahead there, and he is watching the sunset is almost going down right away, and then Issei just probably think that he got exactly what he really want. Then the servants always be there with him and protecting him from danger out there in this world, and the young man was going to see the whole things around here is fine, and he got a letter gift from Rias, and she asked him to be marriage, but the thing is he denied. Then Issei was done being allies with the devils because they are monsters and not good at all, and now he seen Rias couldn't save him back there, and he was got his ass killed by the fallen angel. The young man seems to be pissing off about what he did back there, and then he just don't want to trust her or any devils out in this world after the school was done, and he decide to sat there where he is looking at the sunset is going down and beautiful. Preacher! Are you alright? She asked him when she was appeared out of nowhere, and she landed her feet down on the ground where she was stood right there by herself. Nero Claudius. Issei. I'm fine, Nero, I am just being happy here by myself, he said to her, and make her heard of this and she want to ask him. Nero. What happened? She asked him. Issei. Well, the red-haired devil want to ask me become her marriage, but I decide to give her a medicine painful taste for what she did to me when I was about to die. He said to her, and then the blonde-haired girl still not forgive Rias about let her master getting killed by the fallen angel, but gladly that Issei was called them right on the time. This is what happened to Rias about what she did back there, and teaching her a real lesson for what she never knew happened back there. A/N. Imagine Saya as Issei slap Rosalie as Rias. I don't know, but this is funny as shit. Rolling on the floor laughing, 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 rolling on the floor laughing. Nero, laughing, she is laughing and keep laughing out for what she heard Issei slap the shit out of Rias and reject her that he won't become her husband or something like that makes him had his own summons in Asia. Then Issei was got up from the ground by himself and make him look at Nero, and he asked her in question. Issei. Nero. He said to her. Nero. Yes? She asked him. Issei. Why don't we take a dance here? He asked her and make her heard of this, and she is blushing up to see Issei ask her for dance, and then she was nod her head to him, and then the two of them were dancing out. But Nero taught him how to learn with dance right away and make the two of them dancing up for a while. Then as for the other female servants who want to dance with him because they love their own beloved master, and they want to keep his heart is full. His daughters want to dance with him, Bunyan, Jack, Nursery, and Santa Lily Jean as well. That makes the four of them were dancing with their master/father that makes them become his family. Then Issei felt a lot of happiness inside at him, and he seeing them are his family and loved ones, and now the world will be saved by the hero who protecting the mankind from danger. Time skip later. In somewhere else. There was a figure who stood on the rooftops building ahead there by himself, and make him just watching at Issei down there by himself where he was with his servant dancing in the roof of the school's building with a gentle music. Then the figure revealed out to be white hair with his casual clothes to dressing on by himself, and make him look at Issei over there, and he said, So this is him? The Holy Knight Emperor, Dragon, humanity's savior. He said to himself and observed the young man down there, and he want to face him right now but not now, later in the future. I'll test him out, he said to himself. Chapter 16, Surzek's Lucifer. Looks like the marriage was been cancelled, and turns out that arrogant bastard Riser got what he deserved coming, and turns out that he just got his ass beating the hell out by Issei with his servant King Gilgamesh. The two of them were whooped the shit out of the arrogant motherbucker who was about to marry Rias. Now it is humiliation for Riser that motherbucker better get the hell out of here, and he doesn't want to get joined in the bad side of Issei. When I see I was done with his mission, now only left is enjoy his own normal life such as humanity world. Issei willing to do everything that he can to make the world of humanity getting better, and he won't let the humanity taken over by the devils and fallen angels as well. That's what his mission going to do it by himself. Present. Issei's regular outfit. Issei. Praying. Issei was in the temple by himself, and make him sat on the ground where he was put his hands and begin to praying out little bit, and then he just feeling relaxed when he just got here by himself, and make the young man praying and something else on his mind for what he need to understood about hope with loyalty. The young man heard the giggling with laughs comes from out there, and make him turn his head to look, and he saw there was Jack, Nursery Rhyme, Bunyan, and Santa Lily Jean, that the three of them were playing with their new mother such as Asia. Santa Lily Jean. Nursery Rhyme. The four of them were play lot of funs by themselves, and make Issei was smile up to see his four daughters were playing with the nun as Asia, because Asia is innocent, and she believed there is a God came down here. Then other night that she was feel broken because she went to praying out for the church, and she decide to speak up to the God, but except for one person who doesn't believe in God because she hate him Jalter. Issei. What a peaceful sight around here, he said to himself, and make him was feel someone else hug him closer tightly, and he doesn't know who was it, and revealed out to be Ushiwakamaru. Ushiwakamaru. Hello, my lord, she said to him. Issei. Hello there, Ushiwakamaru, I am surprised to see you were here. Anyway, looks like I am done to praying, he said to her. Ushiwakamaru. I actually came out here to talk with you, my lord, she said to Issei, and make the young man was chuckle out to her, and he told her that she need to talk with him and something else for what she really want, and make him going to heard of it. Then she talked with him for a while little bit, and make him was chuckle out to her, and he know that girl is definitely the cute and beautiful one. When Issei with Asia and the servants done with their temple, and they both decide to take their leave right away by themselves and make them were came downstairs, and until Issei with the other servants noticed the presence, and strange dark aura comes from a devil appeared here by himself. Issei, Asia, stay behind me, he said to her, and make her nod her head, and then out of nowhere Ashwakamaru with Jack goes their own fighting stances to defend their own master. Then there was a person who walk ahead and upstairs by himself. There is 3 servants that they have their weapons aiming at the neck of this intruder, as devil came here, and that is Sasaki Kojiro, Gawain with Jalter that they have their weapons aim at the throat of the intruder devil. Easy, I'm not here to fight, he said to him. Issei, what do you want? He asked him. I came here to talk with you, Hyoudou, he said to him, and then the young man narrowed his eyes at the figure who had a red long hair, and same green eyes like Rias. This must be her brother or cousin, and Issei need to figure out about who she really is. Then the young man look at the adult man who dressing up with crown clothes by himself, and make him looks like a king little bit, and Issei asked him. Issei, who are you? He asked him. Surzex Gremory, and I am Satan Lucifer, he said to him. Surzex Gremory / older brother of Rias. Issei, you want to speak with me? He asked him. Surzex, yes, I want to ally with you because I know what Rias did to you back there, and it is unforgivable, he said to Issei. And then the young man seen this man was definitely not lying at all, and then he was about to speak up, and until there was another feminine voice called out, comes from someone else is here, that is another servant. Then Surzex was taken surprise. He can felt there were a lot of guns comes from the sky and aiming down at the devil where he was stood right there, and he seen this coming for him. Oda Nobunaga. Oda, give me a good reason why are we trust you? She asked him, and make them man was taken surprise to see the girl was looks familiar clothes to dressing up, and he said in surprise. Surzex, Oda Nobunaga? W what? He said in surprise. Oda, oh, you know about me? How interesting, she said to him, and then Issei told her to stand down right now, and he want to heard the devil speak up, and make him was readying for the devil is about to speak up, and he want to ally with him as friend. Then Issei was thinking, and he just going to tell the devil meet him in his home, and he want to heard what the devil was speaking up right away. Time skip later. Back to Issei. When Issei was sat with his servants, and they both were look at the devil, who begin to explaining to them with the whole things out there, such as enemies like fallen angels are out there in this world, and they both doing their own crimes and killing against the humanity's world where they are in danger. Then Issei need to ask him about Kokobio, where was the Lord of Fallen Angels right now, and the man shook his head, and he told Issei that he couldn't find him. Surzex, I believe that we still researching for him, and he need to be put down before he use his sacred gears to destroy the mankind's world, he said to Issei. Issei, no, let us doing this, he said to Surzex. Surzex, we? You mean you and your servants? He asked him, and make the young man nod his head, and then Surzex heard Rias told him with the information about Issei is the master and his powerful allies, that they are strong and killing many fallen angels out like no mercy. Then the devil should be afraid of him with his allies' servants for what he really had, and it is make him become stronger and also faster, that he is scared of Issei, that is the young man doesn't mess around cause he willing to destroy everything stood on his way. This is his path to make the humanity better. And then Surzex was about to speak up to Issei with the other servants about they need to be careful with Kokobio and the fallen angels. There were 100 army of them, that they are absolutely terrifying, and they have a lot of weapons with them such as spears that they need to do. Also Kokobio cannot be killed easily. Then they both were thinking of this, and make them were laughing out little bit for what they were heard of this. Issei, really? Is that what you going to say? He asked him. Surzex, what? What do you mean? He asked him. Issei, there were other servants who are powerful, can defeat these fallen angels and Kokobio as well, he said to him, and make him was surprised more for what he was hearing this. And then Emiya was explaining to Surzex about these servants who were dealing lot of dangers in other world before, and now they are going to face with these fallen angels and Kokobio by themselves to take them down immediately right away with one shot to kill them. See, you explained to him with his powerful spear can kill a god. Enkidu with Gilgamesh are the same, only thing for what they really have to kill this fallen angels and Kokabeel. That's the way to defeat them all by themselves. This is going to be painful death for those fallen angels and Kokabeel. They are going to get solos by Issei with the servants who wipe everything around here by themselves.
Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown in left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.